What's going on, family? What's going on? What's going down with Chicken? Welcome to another episode of Super Black Comic Book Reviews by Jonathan Soul. Now, I know it's been a minute. Work's been busy, so sorry about the delay for the reviews. Let me get back into it. And this is a one-shot. I bought it last year, I believe July, on Amazon. It's a detective novel. It has this kind of noirish kind of vibration. It's called Last Days. It's curated by actor, writer, small, short film movie director, in Philadelphia native by the name of Kaloni Davis. Kaloni Davis. I hope I'm spelling his name right. Kaloni Davis. Illustrated by Akinzi. Illustrated by a wonderful talent. All right, so now before I go further, as you can tell by the cover, it's a little scary, right? This is has some violence in it. It's a scary novel, so it's not for children by any means. I got it on Amazon, so that means Kindle, okay, because it's on my iPad at the moment. And it's a one-shot, so I haven't seen nothing else, another title, another book in this series. So I'm doing this primarily because I got the Malika books. Here, let me show you real quick. I love how I can just go into the iPad and... So I got the Malika books, but it's taking me some time to get through them. So I just didn't want to leave you guys without any content. So that's what's going on. All right, so let's get into it. So this brother, he's a detective. His name is James Young, and he's investigating a murder, or a series of murders, actually. All right, let's get into it. I checked this out. There's nothing there. Don't worry about it. So a lot of people, try projects. Sometimes it works, sometimes they don't. Now, this book reminds me a little bit in terms of the religious kind of themes. If you go to my brother, he's the EMS tech, EMS, the medical tech over in over the Advent Comics. And he has a lot, I think he might be a religious person. Anyway, he definitely has some of that Christianity kind of theme running through his books. So anyways, what's going on is, let's get into it. Now, like I told you, it has a noir kind of vibration to it, okay? So when you see the writing, you'll be like, oh, that's that's what's happening. All right, then, Jesus Christ, oh my God, what's happening? Bam. Now, that's a dope panel right there. I mean, the angle that it's at and everything, the dynamism of it, the how they're using the black and white. Obviously, this is a black and white with some spot color. Uses red, which is a very nice touch. If any of y'all are a fan of, remember Sin City, right? What's the white dude who did it originally? Frank Miller. But Rodriguez, who did the film, he captured that same energy. So this reminds me of that. This cat, he has a faith-based series as an author, and he got murdered. Me reminiscing when I was younger in college, I remember Christian sci-fi novels are very popular, and very popular. A lot of them had to do with like spooky, scary shit or whatever. Usually demon possession or something like that. Some of them was honest and said this is sci-fi. Some of them was not so honest and said this is real life, but whatever. All right, so let's go. So must be a recent murder because you can see the blood is dropping on dude's hand. Okay, and again, this is James Young, as we'll see. This is one of his informants. In the TV shows, I don't know about in real life. In the TV shows, these guys always have people on the street. Even Sherlock Holmes, had children that would feed him information. In real life, when some assault happened in my old neighborhood, the police literally passed out flyers. I was like, okay, all right. Passed out flyers. So the murderer has a certain pattern. He's killing people who are, publicly identified as Christians, and I guess he's killing them in these gruesome ways. Now it's funny that fedora. I have that fedora right behind me on my bed. I actually rock a fedora sometimes. I actually love it. I don't know why. I like that. That old school kind of vibration. Now this is where we find out that the brother's based in Philadelphia. I lived in Philadelphia for a while, and I'm not gonna lie. When I was there, I felt like Philadelphia was real life Gotham City. Is it Gotham or I always said Gotham when I was a kid, but it's really Gotham. And sidebar: if y'all are watching the Lovecraft Country, okay, I haven't watched it yet. I don't even do I have it. I don't even know if my any of my subscription services have it. But what I've done is I love audiobooks. I'm an audio guy. I love the human voice. I love language. So I've been listening. Sorry, I've been listening to Lovecraft's books for years. And I ain't gonna say he hated black people, but he thought black people were He thought basically anybody who wasn't white was kind of closer to the animals. If you listen to Lovecraft enough, it'll be like whites at the top, and then maybe the Slavics and under them, and then under that is Asians, and then everybody else, and then black people at the bottom, African people at the bottom. You know. So I remember this one phrase, the nautical Negro. Some doctor who discovered the Cthulhu statue, or whatever, fell over and died. And they said maybe because he bumped into this nautical looking Negro. Nautical, like the ocean, like Navy. Nautical. I thought it was a strange phrase. Sidebar over. He's trying to find out who killed this killer. He's describing the city. So they had a lead on this murderer guy a year ago. He sent some team of, I look like a mercenary squad. He says vigilantes. This is kind of playing out like a TV show. I don't know if y'all dig that. So this brother pops out the shadows, taking people out. You see the use of spot color? You see that? Now right here, it almost looks like he wasn't even they didn't even use no ink. So in the old days, the way they would do comics, right, is it was like three people who created the comic book page, panel. If you don't count the printer, it was the original penciler who would obviously draw stuff in pencil. Some of these guys would do the ink themselves, but sometimes they wouldn't. So they do the pencils, and the pencils usually had a whole bunch of detail depending on your art style. So then they send that over to an inker, and the inker would come over and then just do inks. He would just ink it, and so the style would change just a little bit because of the inker's touch. And then you would move to the colorist, and then the colorist would go and they would, you get the idea, and then you would send that to the printer. That's the old days. Right nowadays, digital. But I say that because when I look here, it's looking like there was no inker. It's looking like it's just straight pencils with the spot color, which I think is interesting. Because I had a background in graphic design and I did a little. I never worked on a comic book, but I did a graphic design in the old days when we still had a lot of stuff was before things went digital. I can appreciate that. I like the process too. So this guy right here is the detective Young, okay, and he was part of that team, and so he's confronting this killer, but the guy didn't take him out, and it seems to be about a book. A lot of this seems to be about some special book. Now, sidebar again. One of my favorite films is The Ninth Gate. And it'll be curious if you watch the whole video. Please put in the description your favorite film. It's not like your absolute favorite. We all got favorites, but just put one of your favorite films. One of my favorite films is Ninth Gate. The Ninth Gate is about a book. It's supposed to be, I don't know, 7 copies or 3 copies or whatever of a book that supposedly the devil wrote himself. Okay, this is it's an old kind of fantasy film. Not old, meaning it came out in maybe early 2000s. One of my favorite actors is Johnny Depp. Johnny Depp kind of plays the same guy. He's like, I mean, like these actors nowadays, they kind of play the same people all the time. Not like the old days where some people get into character, like that guy played the Joker or whatever. But the Ninth Gate was about a book, and so Johnny Depp was hired by this other guy who is a infamous book collector to verify that one his copy of the Devil's Book was authentic, and if it and then find the other copies of the book that exist that are authentic because he wanted to keep them all for himself. And so it sounds like, that's a simple premise, but he's traveling different parts of the world, and it's all these strange things that are happening to him. And then the film basically implies that the devil is causing all of these accidents, these strange deaths. And so that's what this reminds me of a little bit. And so he talked about the different murders that's happened over the last year, different people. Now it's funny that this is Christians that are being wiped out, kind of a thing. And this guy, the detective, basically he isn't a man of faith. He's saying it's clear. It was clear to me someone had a thing against Jesus freaks. I had no personal attachment to the case till his next victims were found. Pastor Young, my father, strangled from the backseat of his car. So it got personal with him. Now I'm not gonna lie to you. As a rule, that's not even right. As a personal preference, I don't like books that have real world religious themes. When I say real world, like if your book has its own religion where you worship the black olive of Djibouti, I mean something like that's cool. That's fine. It's just I don't generally like because to me it's like as a personal thing. To me, I think religion is destructive. Personally, I think, let me rephrase that. I think um, dogmatic religion is destructive. If you're religious, but you realize, hey, I could be wrong, then I think that's cool. Because very few of us have been to the other side and back, kind of a thing. We got to rely on other people's testimonies, and so But if you're one of those dogmatic people where you can get to the argument over this, that, and the third, then And so, to me, when you put it in books, you're just reinforcing that. But if you're immune to it, like myself, I studied myself out of religion. Oh, that's another thing. If this is gonna sound bad, but I'll just say it anyway. If you really, really are a religious person, don't study history because you're gonna find out that the shit you believe is not new. It's been recycled, and then you're gonna come to a place where history doesn't support your religious beliefs. Um, but that could be a good thing because what happened to me was I realized that it's just a matter of faith. And as long as your faith isn't based on any kind of physical proof, then you're fine. You know what I'm saying? So, but to me, I wanted more than that. That's why I walked away from Christianity. You see, I thought this was a comic book review. So now this guy's visiting the wife of one of the victims. So we could go on, but I just wanted you guys to get a sense of this. If you like that kind of, kind of dark, kind of vibration in terms for your comics, I think this could be a good book for you. It's 38 pages, so it's good enough to give you a complete chapter of a story. There has been no book two that I've seen on Amazon, and like I said, I bought this I think in June. Yeah, there you go, June. Yeah, June. Oh, July. My fault. July 2019.